What's up, everybody? My name is Erin, and welcome to the Mad Maker Studio, and welcome back for Astrologaster Part 13. I can't believe I put up the first episode and said, yeah, maybe I'll come back and do one or two more videos. Oh no, I am doing a full playthrough. I have become invested in all of these characters and all of their stories, and oh my gosh, I will say it again. Please play this game for yourself. I cannot recommend it enough. So let's hop in, do a little recap on our last querent from the previous episode, and see where it takes us from there. Okay, yes, so we ended with Alice Blogg. The querent's wife did come about her husband, whose symptoms include loud moaning, a severe facial rash, and a preference for remaining abed. I did diagnose erysipelas and warned the querent that her husband would most likely die. And she is just speechless after that. So she did love her husband and has cared for him. I think if she was mostly upset about, inheriting all his debts, she would have something to say here, but I think she is just genuinely shocked.
Hear ye, hear ye! Traitor loses head after losing mind! Earl of Essex gets the chop for treason! Hear ye!
Traitor loses his head after losing mind. Earl of Essex gets the chop for treason. On this day, the 25th of February, in the year of our Lord 1601, Robert Devereux, the Earl of Essex, was executed for treason. The execution follows yesterday's trial, at which he was found guilty of leading a failed plot against the realm. Formerly a favourite of both Her Majesty and the London public, the Earl's surprise and betrayal of both Queen and country has shocked the nation. We tried to talk him out of it. He would not listen.
If you try to argue with her, you will have no luck. She'll twist and turn your logic till your reason comes unstuck. Chastise Mary who you like, she will not give up. Will not give up.
For as crazy as Mary Payne's character is, she's growing on me. She's growing on me a lot, just with her whole personality and demeanor. Like, if I were to interact with this woman in real life, I would be losing my mind. But being able to be behind a screen and just appreciate her character, she is really growing on me.
Well met, Mistress Payne. How fare you this day?
Most well indeed, sir, for I am just come from taking my niece on an outing to Tower Hill. 'Twas to see the execution of the traitor Robert Devereux.
Ah, yes, Lord Devereux. What a tragic end to a promising career.
And such a lovely beheading they gave us. My niece and I very much enjoy the hangings at Tyburn, but a beheading is so much more elegant, is it not? Verily, 'tis a better class of execution, I find, and the royal executioner did go down on Devereux with such skill. A single stroke was all it took to give us the traitor's head.
Aye, 'tis true the royal executioner gives excellent...
But I have no time to tarry here and gossip with you, Dr. Foreman. I am come on a matter of great concern, and you are just the man to help, methinks. For your prediction that Elizabeth's reign would endure was true. Whilst the Queen does have the appearance of being naught but a painted corpse propped up on a throne using artfully placed cushions, she is, in law at least, still alive. Praised be!
Ah, indeed. Praised be. And what is this new matter that concerns you?
'Tis that England is filling up with foreigners. Indeed, 'tis been going on for so many years now that in London 'tis rare to hear anyone discoursing in the English tongue any more. The city is crawling with continentals.
Ah, then I take it you do not enjoy your visit to the City of London.
Oh, nay, I have never been to London. For as I did just say, 'tis crawling with continentals, and Lambeth will soon suffer the same fate if we do not act. Why, only the other day I spied a Continental on the high street. A monstrous ogre of a man he was. And as for his face, his eyelashes were so fair he had the appearance of having none at all.
Ah, yes, the Netherlanders. 'Tis true the people of the Netherlands can be fair of hair and tall of stature.
And 'tis surely no coincidence that Lambeth has suffered an increase in crime of late. We do not feel safe, Dr. Foreman. Every night we ladies of Fore Street do shiver in our beds at the thought of these frighteningly large men.
I do not doubt it, madam. Now, let us see whether the stars might allay or confirm your fears. Should the residents of Lambeth be concerned about an influx of Continentals?
Mary Payne is a special kind of crazy. Should the residents of Lambeth be concerned about an influx of Continentals? Some Continentals are lying about why they are in Lambeth. They are come here to rob Lambeth residents of our household possessions. We must not be deceived. Neptune in retrograde. This advises reversing a deception. Lambeth residents' relationship with the Continental immigrants is in danger of turning violent. Uranus falling in Taurus. This suggests violence. Our duty lies with our domestic concerns, which should take priority. The moon, this represents domesticity. Okay, so I find all of this option very odd. I would have to look into the history a bit more, but I'm fairly certain that this is well past the Viking era, like the initial arrival of Vikings, or Continentals, as Mary likes to call them. So I highly doubt that at this point, at this juncture in time, they are thinking about ransacking Lambeth. Our queen has been waging war on the continent. Mars, this indicates war. The sun, this represents an authority figure, the queen. Unpleasantness in the name of religion has caused death and destruction. Venus in detriment in Aries, this indicates unpleasantness. Pluto, this represents death and destruction. Residents of Lambeth are being somewhat hypocritical. The stars advise countering this hypocrisy. Jupiter in retrograde and detriment. This advises countering hypocrisy. Continental immigration will enrich England's legacy with culture and innovation. Mercury, this represents education. Youths who have lost their sense of discipline are involved. Saturn exalted in Libra. This represents austerity. So yes, I'm thinking C is the best option, though Mary might not want to hear that.
Madam, I may assure you that if there be a rise in criminality, the Continentals are not to blame.
Then who is to blame?
May I suggest the youth of this day? The youth of this day are customarily blamed for social ills, and in this instance it would seem justified, at least according to the stars. As for the Continentals, it appears that elements of their culture and expertise may one day serve to enrich ours. Consider, for example, the additional dining options they have brought with them to England. Indeed, do we English not tire of our dreary custards and dull mutton roasts?
Well, in truth, I am a little partial to their... What are those puffy pancake things with the crisscrosses on them?
Waffles, I believe.
Aye, I will own I am partial to those Netherland waffles. But pish, Dr. Foreman, you learned men and fancy folk may discourse all you like about having your dinner tables enlivened with foreign cookery, but who is it that suffers when desperate Continentals go a-robbing our houses and a-troubling our women? 'Tis us ordinary folk, 'tis who. I will have my husband write to Lambeth Palace and tell the Archbishop we will have no more of these Continentals in Lambeth. Blessed day, Dr. Foreman.
The querent did come with fears of an influx of continental immigrants. I did suggest to the querent that the continental migrants were a welcome addition to English society. Methinks the querent took my advice a little ill. Well, we knew she would. I wonder when Mr. Payne will be getting home from the butcher's. I could do with a lovely big bit of gammon this evening.
Hear ye, hear ye! Dean of Rochester Cathedral dies. New Dean pledges to refurnish empty cathedral. Hear ye!
Oh no, Tommy boy! Local residents were saddened this day by tidings of the death of Thomas Blogg, Dean of Rochester Cathedral. He leaves behind a wife, Alice Blogg, and children, John, Thomas, Cornwallis, Edmund, Nicholas, and Francis. My first thought was to be, dang, he had a lot of children. But my second follow-up thought was, dang, his wife had a lot of affairs.
Humphrey man, at ease is our reward, for it is not enough to be my father, Lord. For you we sigh, we true and swoon, when we see you entering the room.
Good day, Mr. Bell, and well met. I recall you were hoping for a pay rise. How did that go?
Well, I got a pay rise, innit? I took your advice about banding together with the other hired men and gabbing about how much coin we was getting. Turns out, another one of the lads weren't getting paid enough for his lady parts neither. So, we all refused to do our rehearsals until the boss man fixed it.
Well done, Mr. Bell. I must say I am most proud of you.
But this day, I am come about my skin. She's so clapped, I need twice as much ceruse as normal.
Ah, yes, Venetian ceruse, the white lead and vinegar paste ladies and players use to whiten their faces.
You have to fix it for me, Doctor, for my role in Mr. Shakespeare's new play. I'm to play a lady who disguises herself as a lawyer.
A lady cunningly disguised as a lawyer? Forsooth, how original. But I see not why you need worry over your complexion. Having a sound grasp of Latin and a talent for eloquence are the usual qualifications of a legal advocate, are they not? Is it verily necessary for this lawyer to have beauty as well?
Well, Mr. Burbage seems to think so.
These are enlightened times, and we must have confidence in our audience that they will accept, even welcome, the notion of a lady of learning, as long as she be lovely enough to lie with.
I see. And 'tis true your skin is looking a little less than lovely at present. Let us see if we may find a remedy for it in the stars. What is the matter with Humphrey Bell's face, and what may be done to improve its appearance?
What is the matter with my skin and what might be done to fix it up? Humphrey suffers from melancholy, a condition that can make the skin appear pale in appearance and induce fanciful imaginings in the mind. Mercury, this indicates a psychological factor. Humphrey suffers from distemperature of the liver occasioned by some kind of poison. The moon, this suggests the illness is temporary. Humphrey is troubled with ugliness. Pluto in retrograde, this suggests the illness will get worse before it gets better. Were people in this Renaissance time period, were they diagnosing people with just being ugly? It'll get worse before it gets better. How? That's the face they were born with and you called it ugly. How is it gonna get worse before it gets better? Distemperature of the liver occasioned by some kind of poison. I wonder... Gosh, I need to start taking notes on these people, but we're almost toward the end of the game, so what's the point? But I remember he was like asking like the best way to lose weight or to fit into his dresses, and it was like, oh, my coworker over here, she just throws up. I wonder if he's been taking something of a nature to induce vomiting. So so far, that's a solid option. Double back over here to our boy Libra. Melancholy, a condition that can make the skin appear pale in appearance and induce fanciful imagings of the mind. Okay, forget everything else I just said. So it's a psychological factor. So we either tell him it's something, some kind of poison, or we just tell him, you know, he's having some body issues, some body image issues. Maybe he just needs a little body positivity in this moment. So let's let him know that we deduce that his complexion is of a psychological factor.
You have the melancholy. 'Twould explain the greyness of your skin.
But what about all these scabs, though?
You are imagining them, Mr. Bell. Melancholy does also provoke fancies of the mind.
But it's not just me seeing them, though, innit? Even Bossman says I look clapped. He says if my face ain't fixed, he'll give my part to another player.
Well, doubtless you are imagining that as well. I do oft find that my lady querents have a tendency...
What'd you say that for, though? I ain't no lady. I'm a man. I'll tell you true, and 'tis no when she's imagining or nothing. My face is not lovely enough. I feel sorry, Dr. Foreman, but me thinks I best go see a doctor who can fix up my skin, lest I lose my lady lawyer part, innit?
Oh my gosh, I feel so dumb. I feel so freaking dumb right now. Ugh. Simon, we have no business being a doctor. The querent did wish to know what the matter with his skin was and asked what might be done to improve its appearance. I judged the querent as having melancholy, although this gave his skin a certain pallor. The scabrous appearance he thought it had was but a fancy of the mind. Methinks the querent took my advice rather ill. Okay, new approach. Recording in OBS and Streamlabs, that's all still very new to me, and I think what I'm doing is I'm focusing too much on what my audio levels are on my left monitor, and I need to be actually paying attention to my characters on the right monitor, because oh my gosh, I feel so dumb with that last one. Like, of course it was the middle one. Ah! I wish folk would stop treating me like a wench with a weak mind or something just because I do the lady parts. Well, sir, dost that not make thou more sympathetic to the everyday woes and worries of the women folk? Congratulations, Humphrey. You have joined the ranks of all of the other men in this game who's just an absolute piece of trash.
Mr. Foreman.
Oh no.
Doubtless I need not explain why you have been brought before the College of Physicians this day. We have been informed that you persist in practicing medicine without a license, in defiance of the law and in spite of previous warnings given you by myself and my distinguished colleagues. How do you answer this charge? Well, what do you have to say for yourself, Sirrah?
I say that I am a good doctor, and that my many years of experience have allowed me to perfect my methods as a true physician.
You would dare speak of your methods, Mr. Foreman? We are informed that you write your patients' names and complaints in a notebook, doubtless all the better to blackmail them with.
Ah, yes, my case books. Indeed, sir, 'tis most useful to be able to remember a querent's history.
Furthermore, you use astrological readings not simply to predict the course of an illness or judge the best time for a treatment, as good medicine teaches us, but you find the cause of the disease in the stars. You refuse to examine your patient's urine for this purpose.
Well, yes, for...
And you would dare claim that in these past years you have gained medical knowledge and skill from mere experience? Then I invite you to provide proof of it now. You will submit to an examination.
Come at me, you. Which humor does Saturn rule? Yellow bile, black bile, phlegm, blood. Ooh, this one is a lot harder than the previous interview. Oh my gosh, I should have been taking notes. I should have had my own casebooks. I'm gonna go with my first instinct. I've seen Saturn. I feel like, if I'm remembering correctly, I've seen Saturn having to do a lot with like melancholy. And with melancholy, there's always like a little side note of black bile. So I'm going to pick black bile, have my fingers crossed. Someone with an excess of black bile may exhibit a melancholic temperament, choleric temperament, a sanguine temperament, and an exceeding vexing temperament. No, melancholic. Which planet rules intelligence? Mercury. Which zodiac rules the head? My boy, Aries.
Silence! Simon Foreman, it is clear to me the answers you have just given were not your own, and that they were provided to you this day by some unnatural means. Such foul trickery and dark magic will not be tolerated within these walls. Remove this charlatan, this carnival quack from my sight.
What, again? I demand to speak with my legal counsel. You will regret this!
Dang, they are just determined to have you jailed, never to see the light of day again. Sir, it was with shock and distress that my dear husband Lancelot and I did learn of your current situation. I thought Lancelot died. But worry not, Dr. Foreman, for you will be freed from jail this very day. When I reminded Lancelot of how well you have served him over the years, he did not hesitate in bidding his father, Sir Alfred Moore, to exert his influence on your behalf. But Sir Alfred does warn that the College of Physicians cannot be obstructed for long, and that you verily ought to procure a medical license. Your querent and most assured friend, Emma Moore. I am so confused. I thought Lancelot died.
There be some solution, though. Read the stars and we shall know.
Well met, Alice, dear friend. Since your husband's death, I have oft thought of you. Fare you well?
Oh, Foreman, I am sorry for not coming to see you sooner, for I was grateful for your warning about Blag's illness. It gave me the sense to bide with him in his final hours. It was only then that I did realize how much I did love the old fool, despite his mump-headed nature and his leaving me and the children with not a penny between us. But the day after he passed, I came upon a note he had writ for me. I warrant that was your idea, was it, Foreman?
It may have been.
Then I thank ye for it, Simon. For 'twas a comfort to be left something to remember him by, even if it be the only thing he did leave me. But things are better since I did become Mistress Macy.
Then you have remarried?
Aye. 'Twas the only means of putting a roof over our heads and meat in our bellies. And Mr. Macy is a kind man. Oh, but Foreman, we may not have our roof much longer. Macy has threatened to leave me.
The brute!
Well, to be fair, I suppose I did fail to apprise him of the full extent of Blag's debts, which are, as you know, not inconsiderable. But what am I to do about it now?
Ah, yes, of course. By marrying you, he is now responsible for the debts of your late husband, according to the law. In sooth, 'Tis a high price to pay for a wife. No matter the marital bliss her bountiful charms and fine qualities do doubtless afford him.
Ah, save it for another day, Foreman. 'Tis not your chub-brained flattery I am come for. 'Tis your counsel.
Then let us see if the stars may offer a solution. How may Alice Maysay prevent her husband petitioning for a divorce?
How can I prevent my new husband from divorcing me over my late husband's debts? Mr. Maysay feels nervous about being burdened with Thomas Blogg's debts and angry toward Alice as a result. Mars in retrograde, this suggests misdirected anger. Neptune in detriment and retrograde, this indicates neuroticism. A family trip might turn things around. Jupiter in retrograde, this recommends travel to turn things around. God is punishing the deceased Thomas Blogg by visiting the evil sins of the father upon his widow and children. Uranus falling in Taurus, this represents evil. Thomas Blogg's legacy is the debts he has burdened his widow with. The sun, this represents a mature man, Alice's deceased husband, Thomas Blogg. Alice must be realistic and temper her hopes. Saturn, this advises constraint. Ooh. True. I don't know. I'm going to go with A. And hope that's a good answer.
Alas, you have little hope of calming your new husband's feelings about your late husband's debts. But the stars suggest that your family might go abroad, and thus put yourself out of the reach of Blagg's creditors. You must do this without delay.
Go abroad? You mean where foreigners live?
Aye. My chart also suggests that you find some creative solution to ensure your husband's cooperation in such a project. Has he ever expressed an interest in the New World colonies? Or perchance you might suggest an extended tour of Roman antiquities?
Nay, but I will put my mind to it. But if we do go abroad, this is doubtless the last time I shall ever see you, Foreman.
When I said that, I thought, like maybe taking the family to Disney World, but sure, let's not, instead of Disney World, let's go to the New World. Away from all these creditors. The querent did wish to know how she might prevent her new husband, Mr. Maysay, from divorcing her over Thomas Blogg's debts. I did suggest the querent think of a reason for the family to move abroad, where they would find themselves beyond the reach of Blogg's creditors. Methinks the querent was pleased with me for the reading I gave this day. Coitus post consultatio. Yeah, we know, Simon. And yes, 'twas our last reading with Mistress Alice Blogg. Come on, Alice. You could do it. Maysay was chump-headed enough to marry you, so mayhap he'll go abroad with you as well. Ha 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 ha. Good luck, girl. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and leave this episode of Astrologaster here, but thank you again for joining me. I hope to see you next time. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Bye!